Welcome to our Pathways Information Evening at Deer Park. The aim of this evening's presentation is to give you an overview of the Pathways process and support you in being able to help your child with their Pathways choices. Moving from Key Stage 3 into a 3-year Key Stage 4, students will continue to benefit from a broad and balanced curriculum, whilst tailoring their curriculum to meet their own individual interests and needs. Deciding which subject to study is an important and exciting part of being in Year 8. The choices made during this process will help your child to fulfil their future plans and aspirations. Getting your child's pathway right is really important and not always easy. We want to make sure that we provide you and your children with enough information to make informed choices about their future. In tonight's presentation, we'll also hear from Mrs. Angel, Director of Learning for French, and Mr. Gregory, as well as finally be an opportunity to ask any questions you may have specifically to any of the subject teachers. If you are listening online, you can email or call the school with any questions that you might have, or refer to our frequently asked questions document, which will be out at the end of half term. Deer Park believes in a broad and balanced curriculum that provides access towards further education and a wide choice of career opportunities. Over the next half term, Year 8 will select their subjects that they will study in Year 9 through to Year 11. To support the students in making their Pathways choices, they will take part in a number of Pathways assemblies after half term, tutor time sessions, education for life lessons, and taster sessions of each subject in their normal timetabled lessons. Students and parents will receive information throughout the process, including all information on each subject in Pathways booklets, which will be coming home on the 10th of February. The Pathways Assembly videos will also be shared online so you can watch them again and together with your students, as well as the frequently asked questions document. All of these resources will be available on our website. My biggest piece of advice would be to look through those really carefully, including the subjects that your children may have already ruled out, just to make sure they have a really good understanding of what each subject involves at GCSE. For example, PE is always a really good example. Students always think that will just be practical, but actually 50% of the course will be taught in a classroom. GCSEs are now graded through a number system of GCSE grades 1 to 9. These numbers have replaced the old GCSE grades that most of us have of A star to G. Most courses assessed through terminal exams in Year 11, and there has been a reduction in the number of coursework elements. Information about the way each subject is assessed will be discussed in subject information videos and in the Pathways booklets. It's important to consider when talking about which subjects you might want them to take. Selecting the right subject is about enjoyment and also enthusiasm for a subject. It's also important to think about subjects where your child will find the most success. GCSE results are a key reference point for universities and college applications, as well as sometimes future careers. Post-16 courses will sometimes also consider average point scores for entry requirements, which means that every GCSE grade is taken into consideration. Therefore, we want to try and encourage our students to select subjects they enjoy and that they feel that they can be successful in and reach their potential. A good starting point will be the parents' evenings over the next 2 weeks to discuss these with your children's teachers. The English Baccalaureate, or known sometimes as the EBAC, is an accountability measure in England. It measures the proportion of children who secure a grade 5 or above in English, Maths, Science, Humanity and Language GCSE. The government are keen to encourage students to study subjects included in the EBAC and believe that this ensures students study a set of subjects at GCSE that keep young people's options open for further study and future careers. The EBAC is made up of the subjects which are considered essential to many degrees and open up lots of doors, especially the more academic routes. By 2025, currently, the government aim for 90% of students should be studying a language at GCSE. A study conducted by the UCLL Institute of Education found that studying subjects included in the English EBAC provide students with the greater opportunities in further education and increases the likelihood that a student will stay on in full-time education. Interestingly, other studies conducted by the Sutton Trust suggest that studying the EBAC can also help improve a young person's performance in English and maths. Although we allow students to follow their interests, it is our job to ensure our curriculum is broad and balanced and the suite of subjects does not close any doors for them post-16. As previously mentioned in my letter, students will continue to study English, which will include English literature and language, maths, and also science. We will not be making any decisions about combined or separate science until year 10. All students will be asked to either choose history or geography. All students will continue to study core PE and education for life to ensure we are promoting our students being global citizens, as well as promoting a healthy, active lifestyle and also well-being. At Deer Park, although we are not going to make it compulsory for all students to take up the EBAC, we do strongly recommend that they continue to take French. Learning to understand and speak another language not only gives you the ability to learn and understand about other cultures, but can also build your communication, interpersonal and public speaking skills. Some studies have shown that learning another language can improve your ability to multitask and block out distractions. It can also provide a competitive edge in university places, especially Russell Group universities, and career prospects. Learning a language is not always easy, but everyone can succeed, and it pushes us out of our comfort zone to gain the confidence needed for the adult world. In addition to your child's core curriculum, they will then be able to select their top 3 preferences. Students will need to select one additional subject as their reserve subject choice. There are some constraints to these choices, which we will outline in our Pathways booklets and our frequently asked questions, such as you are not able to choose both design, technology and food and nutrition. I'm always transparent about some of the challenges we face as a small new school. The current suite of subjects are there because we have teachers in place who can deliver those GCSEs. We also need to be mindful of the number of subjects that are on offer in the free choice to enable sufficient students choosing the subject and therefore also being viable to run. This will be our programme that we are using for students to be able to opt for their subjects. There are many great things about this, including the automatic save button, which will mathematically make sure that all of any students' options are saved. And also, it will mathematically create our classes and allocate student choices based on their ranking in a really fair manner. And not being biased, it also looks at the best solution for the whole cohort, not individual students. From this, we'll be able to share with you the choices that students have made. This is really important that students make their reserve choices carefully, because they may not always get their top 3 choices. These are all the things that we have available in order to help students. We have lots of things going on. It's just a little bit of a reminder.
Hello, this is Mr. Gregory. I am Head of Year for Year 8, their Director of Progress and Achievement. What you can see on the screen in front of you is actually an image that I showed the year group in assembly a week or so ago, and it obviously shows a variety of different pathways. And alongside that, we've got our year group motto, which is all about challenging yourself, which is something that the year group continue to impress me with what they do. We've got members of the year group who show people on school tours, they help out with interviews, and they've helped out on open evening. They independently organised a charity event that raised £750. The year group is incredible, challenging themselves, but this in itself, this process, does represent a challenge for them. And I think they need to approach it with an open mind and remember a couple of really critical things, which I'm going to talk to you about on the next slide. So in terms of what you can do to help them on this kind of journey they're on, you can see there's some information here on how you can help your child. So questions that I'd like you to have at home, if possible. Discuss their aspirations for the future, and sometimes it helps to work backwards. So thinking about a future career, what do they need to get there? What do they need to get into college to be able to get onto that career? Is it an average point score? Is it a certain number of subjects they need to pass? Okay, and alongside that, working backwards in terms of how they get there, what subjects would they need to do? Equally, we need to consider what subjects they really enjoy, because they're more likely to do well in subjects that they actively enjoy learning in, and what they're currently excelling at. And you'll be aware that we've recently shared our report data, so you'll see if our students have been given a yellow, turquoise or blue for their behaviour, but also they'll have a Deer Park step, which relates to whether or not they're on track or off track. And obviously students who are currently excelling are more likely to do well in those subjects come GCSE. Now, 2 really critical things to reinforce going forwards with Year 9. Don't please pick a subject because their best friend has, because we can't guarantee they're going to be in the same class. They really want to be picking a subject because they actively enjoy doing it, not because their friend is doing it. Secondly, please don't pick a subject purely because of the teacher. We're obviously employing several new teachers this year. There's no guarantee that the teacher they will have next year will be the teacher that I have this year. So please do bear those two things in mind. And obviously, if you have any further questions, you can in first instance consult with your child's tutor, or you can come to myself, Mr. Gregory, head of year, and available on the normal school phone number or via email. Thank you for your time, and I hope we can be supportive during this process.
These are our key dates, so you are more than welcome to obviously note those down, but they will also come out in due time in the newsletter and also throughout the next half term. If you have any questions, obviously this presentation is now online, so you can look back through it. We will be uploading a frequently asked questions document that will come out with the pathways. There will be virtual assemblies, and also if you have any questions, you can email us at deerpark@deerparksecondary.org.